I didn't want to say it.
Has it gotten worse over time?
Went over to the racetrack last night, and there's these 3 guys there. They must have been 9 feet tall. I said, hey, we're going to have a picture with you. He said, yeah. And I looked at the picture, and like, who's the midget? Golly, these guys were huge guys. Put your arm around them like, dang it, what are you guys in at, you know?
Did you run your car?
No. I just went over to watch. They were having a big get-together. Yeah. But it was a pretty good turnout.
Sweet.
There was a guy the other day at the track, and he was like, "Oh man, you look a little taller in person." And I was like, "Oh, no problem." And like I crouched down a little for his photo, and he was kind of mad at me. He was like, "You know, we gotta retake it. You can't do that."
I got my Tom Jones high heels on here.
All right, well, guys, we got Sam and Cleet on together, which is a big treat for me because, I mean, of course, these two are top tier people in the automotive world, but also highly requested. And to have you guys both on together is almost overstimulating in a way, too, because
Might be.
you both could have 10 hours of episodes. So we're going to try to somehow rein that in to an hour and 40 minutes.
We'll make it happen.
I have contracts here so that you guys can't
Wow.
go to other podcasts.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah.
This man's
Well,
official.
Sam doesn't follow contracts. Tell you that right
It's
now.
They say
Officially.
bestest friends contract, but
Oh.
you can just assume.
Let me see
I know
that.
you're a big contract guy, so here's a
I'll
pen.
I'll have to have our attorney look at these, Sam, before you can sign it. Sorry.
Yeah,
We'll make sure we sign it before we leave.
exactly. Yeah, because there's other people trying to poach you guys for podcasts.
Hey, listen, we're your 1 and 2 on this channel. You hit most viewed videos, number 1 right here. Number 2,
Yeah.
Stop
which I'm not happy about. So what I did is I brought Sam so that my name is on the number 1 video. I think this one's going
You
number
guys.
We're gonna creep it up to number 1. So, guys, if you're new here, hit the subscribe button. I don't say that really ever because I'm pretty bad about that. But
Yeah.
if you're new here, which you likely are, hit the subscribe button. These guys are
1.
we got a lot
Contractually
to talk
obligated to be here.
Yeah, they can't go anywhere else now anymore.
I think also, in order to get the most views, you could potentially title this Cleetus is firing Mr. Sam.
Cleetus
Well,
fire.
I have now been, and
But
I had to
you
get
are
dressed
now
up.
rehired.
I had to get dressed up to do
so-
it, and soon time he says, "Well, I said, what's that for?" So I can officially fire you.
But now
dressed
you're
up.
rehired.
Do you have a golden watch for him or anything?
No, because he's rehired, so we're good. What's up with, by the way, showing up in a suit without warning us, so we look like idiots?
No. I just came out of church and I looked at this thing here, and look at that. Guess where I got it?
On mute.
I looked at
Attaboy.
that thing there and said, "Want to go to Coops?" Hey, I just got out. Sure, yeah, it'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Good timing.
All right.
And then I said, "Where's he live?" And I know he's thinking, "Well,
Here
you
we
been
are.
there?" Well, no, I hadn't been there before. No, not yet. But now I have.
Yeah.
So ignorance is now no excuse anymore.
Good.
Perfect.
It's good to have you.
So there's an
wonderful
interesting
to be here.
thing. You're from Asheville.
Yes.
And you were there doing the rescue. That's such a weird,
Yeah.
somewhat coincidence that Sam and his daughter are from and live in Asheville. His daughter still lives in Asheville, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I honestly forgot. I was flying up there when Sam texted me.
But could I mention one thing?
Of course.
And he'll kill me for doing it, but I'm going to do it. He took in person to my daughter because there were some stores that were open, not many, but they would accept cash only. So what does this man right here take up our tour? In person, cash.
I tried to take her with me, but she wouldn't leave. She's a nurse, so she had to stay,
Oh, okay.
which was very honorable
I
of her.
did ask her
Like
about
her
that. I
father?
said, "You can get out of there, and she says, "Dad, I can't do it." Okay, and she didn't.
So you were actually there on site with his daughter at one point.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yes.
That's such a weird coincidence of fate, I would say.
Yeah, it was hard to get in touch with her, too, because
Oh,
there was
'cause
just
it's-
no comms.
Sketchy on the phones. My goodness, you couldn't get nothing. And the highways. Oh well, you know how that
Only
makes life.
Starlink.
Yeah.
Starlink was really the only thing that worked.
Yeah.
What did you think you were getting into when you went there? Because we were talking that morning. I think I was with you the morning you left, and it seemed
Yeah.
almost like a last minute decision to go there, and then you were there for days.
Yeah, it was totally last minute. We were going to dinner with George and Bogey, and we were like kitting up the helicopter to go get them, and we were gonna go to like a dinner. I don't know, and one of the guys hit me up that was up there flying. He's a local guy, so he just had his helicopter in the area, and he just called me and said we need more helicopters. And Maddie and I went back and forth on it like 10 times because it didn't sound. He was like, yeah, I think I'm flying there now, and I just helped a couple people out, and it seems like they need more. And it's like, okay, so it seems like it. We don't know. There's zero information coming from North Carolina on the social media. So I just said, well, Maddie, why don't we just go to North Carolina? And if there's nothing there, we'll go to dinner. We'll go meet up with Greg Biffle or something. And then we posted that we were going that same day. And like mass flooding of my email that people haven't been able to reach their relatives for days, which is crazy because it happened Friday morning and we didn't go till Saturday. It's like even Sam was like, I don't even know.
Yeah.
And there's just nothing on the news, so it's really strange. Had no idea what we were getting into.
It was a situation we really hadn't seen before where there was like radio silence out of the area because everything was so
literally nothing
shut down.
No phones.
Without Starlink, they would still probably not have real good contact.
I think it is still messed up even with Starlink.
Oh, it's very, very sketchy now. Very, very, very much so.
That's crazy.
And even the hospital doesn't have water. The one she works at,
Really?
They bring in trucks every day, these big tanker trucks, hook it right to that. That's the water supply for the hospital, and take the waste out. So it's fresh water in on one, wastewater out on another.
Damn.
Daily they're doing. So they haven't given them a definite time when they will have water back.
Well, even like the city in general, the roads going in and out don't seem like they're going to be.
Oh, no.
I think they have some now, right?
There's some roads in some of the, quote, back roads, if you will, and there's a couple of the main roads that are open that weren't they were in the flood zone, but they weren't in the landslide areas. But she can get back and forth to the hospital pretty good. But there's a lot of the ones, especially
she lives close.
It's very close to the hospital. But the connector goes from Asheville to Knoxville. That's going to be out for a while.
I think they said I know where I-40 broke. Mm-hmm. They said September 2025 is when it'll be opened back up.
How about that?
That's a pretty major point of travel for their area.
Yeah.
Well, they're using mules as a source of getting people things.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not a helicopter, there's not really a good way to get up a ravine like that.
Yeah, I mean, the first week there was nothing. It was only helicopter.
Yeah.
And maybe really awesome off-road vehicles in some areas, but I'd say at least 50% of it was only helicopter.
That's crazy. And even the time frame felt weird because the hurricane hadn't made landfall in Florida yet, but I was seeing on the news already the flooding and landslides, and it was
it was
just
pouring rain.
It was right next to us, and it was already hitting them, which felt so off.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and like for us, the storm went by. Was it Thursday the storm went through?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the storm went through Thursday, and then Friday, it was like, okay, the storm's gone. We're all back to normal lives. We're like working on the Dale truck. We're out testing it, and had no idea because all the like real bad stuff happened Friday morning in Asheville.
Yeah.
And then like just nothing. Didn't hear a thing about it till Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
Which is nuts.
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense. And then they seemed like they were aiming at you and your family because then the next one hit us directly.
Oh, my.
Storms were following.
It's like, if one hits Houston.
I mean, Houston, we do have a problem. That was, wow, that was a big storm,
Both of them. I mean, the one that was about to hit here, too, then all of a sudden, like that just weakened. We were about to get the worst hit potentially of ever.
Slammed. We were getting ready to get slammed.
It still was ripping. I mean, I'm guaranteeing.
Yeah, trust me, it was bad enough,
as
was, man. And, I just had a new roof put on. Not one shingle was out of place.
Damn.
Not one.
About to rip one off.
Just
You go out there and take one off.
I'm missing about 30% of my shingles, I think.
That is amazing.
Have you seen on the shop? Is the shop good? Can you
Shop's
see
good.
it there?
Yeah.
Shop's metal roof, brother.
Well, I meant on your shop at your house.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know if you looked on there.
Yeah, it's missing about 30% as well.
That was a storm to be reckoned with. That was,
Sam had to do some buffing this week on the toter because all my shingles hit the toter.
oh, my. That
He
thing,
cleaned her up, though.
ooh, it was
Just tar marks across it.
all down the sea. Yeah.
Literally.
And
Scrapes.
some of them hit with the sandy side into the paint or into the clear coat. Oh my, yeah.
Garrett
But-
lost 3 chicken coops in 2 weeks.
Dude,
Just kidding.
I'm literally on my 4th chicken coop of 2024. I mean, what in the world? We had that baby tied down.
The
Man.
vinyl fencing is crazy too because vinyl fencing just doesn't last.
Dude,
and they keep putting it up everywhere.
I'm wondering if DeSantis is gonna like stop PVC fence in Florida. That seems like something obvious for him to do because if you fly the coast, the water is full of PVC fence. It's definitely the most littered object of the storm situations.
If it wasn't for that fencing, most of the county would actually look pretty good.
100%.
But it's like most of the debris is just fencing.
Very valid.
You come through some of the new developments over there, fencing is everywhere.
Have you been to my house?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's 2 miles of it in my yard.
It's just everywhere, you know. Look, okay, you know, the pictures of the hurricanes on the thing, it's that fencing. Here you go.
Do they do that? Do they build it like that on purpose? Just
Job
to
security,
get people to
maybe?
buy
Job
more?
security?
Most of the PVC fence around my house is the absolute cheapest, least, lowest quality possible, and they put it up in like 2 hours.
Exactly.
A full 2 miles
Yeah.
of it. So it's not even a hurricane comes by, just a good old thunderstorm comes through and it's
Big
down.
wind, poof,
It's
down.
crazy.
And all of the posts went with it, you know. And it's just,
Yeah,
there it is.
This time it bent every post, so
It
now they
took
really
them
got to
down.
do it.
It's quite but it's part of it, I guess, is maybe sell more, job security, whatever way you want to look at it. But it's sure done its job. But
Yeah.
I look for DeSantis to say, we're going to have to find a better way to attach.
Ban PVC fencing.
It almost seems like they should just stop using it. I don't even see why you have to ban it. It just seems so obvious that it's a horrible, horrible idea.
It is cheap.
It's crazy. So to touch on the rescuing a little bit more, because obviously I want to talk about that a little bit more in depth, because it's pretty crazy to spur of the moment you and your wife go and
Yeah.
partially lead,
what you
I would
mean.
venture to say, a
Yes.
rescue effort that
That is correct.
I know the federal government was there, but they were a little slower than private citizens, it seemed.
Yeah. I mean, when we left, it was at the point where like the operator we worked with, which was Operation Airdrop, told us that there was nothing life critical they had on their list is when we left. So they had a bunch of people were putting their calls into this operation, and then they would send us there. And then when that dried up, like real life situations, as far as they knew at that time, that's when we were able to feel good about leaving, because we had left. We didn't intend to leave the kids for 3 days with the grandparents, but Maddie really wanted to get back to them. So it was like we kind of had to go, and then they said, "Hey, we don't have anything for you right now." And that was the first time we had like sat down on the asphalt, and they had not sent us right back out. So that was when we rolled out.
Were you in a better helicopter than what the military seems to have? Because it seems like a Black Hawk almost isn't the right route for what you're doing, but I don't know what else they have ready to go.
So they have Lakotas, which is like an EC-145, and they had those out there hoisting people. So, but they only have, I think, 159 of them or something. Black Hawks are the best helicopter, period, I think. But the rotor wash is 140 mile an hour or something. When you take one of those into somewhere, it'll crush the trees below it. So if you can't get a good enough clearing, you can't safely get in. Like those pilots can get in small areas, but it's not really that big of a deal for them to do. It's just that it'll blow everything out, and then all that stuff goes up and then back over onto the helicopter. So that's why the private guys, honestly, that's why they all shined so much, is because a Bell 407 or a Bell 206, even the Robinsons, which is like the piston helicopters, a lot of those guys were getting into really small areas to help people. And like the MD 500 is definitely a really good one because it's so small and it's so high horsepower that it can just go and then right back out. But the other end of that is private helicopters. Some of them don't have a lot of horsepower. Like a Robinson with 4 people in it, and full fuel, really can't take off vertically. So if you go into a hole, you certainly can't take people out of it unless you yourself, the pilot, are like 100 pounds and the other people are light too. So, but they strategized around that by sending like the piston helicopters that maybe were a little bit less able to just maybe run supplies to this Harley Davidson dealership, which was cool. And then like the turbine guys, which are the higher horsepower helicopters, they gave all of us, you know, stuff that they're like, hey, maybe this is going to be tough when you get there. And then,
well, like cases of water are, you know, obviously heavy.
Yeah.
But when you land with them, you don't take off with them.
Yeah.
So once you can get up, you know, I guess you can leave them.
Which was cool. They wrote the weight on every supply. So any supplies you got, the weight was written with a Sharpie on it. But also, like, if you don't have enough horsepower to go in and do an out of ground effect hover, which is like what requires the most horsepower to hover with no ground effect, if you can't do that above the area and then slowly go down into it, you can't go in, period. So it's like you really got to match your weight and balance to the situation you're going to. Because if you can't control that descent speed, it really can tend to be a bad situation.
Yeah.
If the helicopter settles, I mean, you can just slam it into the ground. But they strategized well. As far as I know, there was 0 private helicopter crashes.
And this was all Operation Airdrop was writing the weights on it. They were distributing those supplies.
Well,
private...
day one, there was this private lady with the GoFundMe that I posted called Hope Mill Inc. And that lady was doing it too. But then Operation Airdrop came in, and they're kind of a bigger nonprofit organization. They were doing the same thing. And then that's who we worked with the rest of the time we were there.
Interesting. Yeah, it's such a crazy phenomenon to see that become so private. I mean, it just doesn't make sense almost that it came to that.
I think for one, there was a delay of no one knew what was happening in North Carolina.
That's great.
And then 2, I think there's a lot of red tape before the big dogs can get let out with, you know, the military helicopters. So even when we were there, the guard was there in their Black Hawk, but the clouds were too low on Sunday morning for them to leave, which technically it was VFR, so we left, but I don't know what their limitations were, but there was guys on the ground with Black Hawks that said they weren't allowed to leave. So it's like
VFR is when it's like sight
visual.
Yeah, not
flight.
using computers. You can just fly.
Yeah, like instrument is none of the private guys can really do it. I mean, there's a very few really bad to the bone helicopters that can do it.
Yeah.
But mostly it's like EMS or military.
An interesting thing you were talking about too is when the president comes into town, they end up like, you know, stopping all
TFR.
flights. So it almost negatively impacts.
It definitely did.
The private guys.
Operation Airdrop had themselves together so well that they got all of the private guys on our team squawk code to fly during the TFR.
Okay.
But think about all the other guys on the other sides of the mountains, because there was just several helicopter crews. Like people were teaming up all over. I don't know if anyone else was able to do that, but I know, like, for example, my buddy in the EP145, that black one I kept posting, he said he was flying like within a few miles of the president when they flew through, which is like super close.
And he talked
to him.
Was he cleared to fly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he had the squawk code. So I think in some ways it definitely did hurt the missions, but at least our side of the stuff, the Operation Airdrop side, I think most of those guys were airborne. But I was not there on that day.
I wonder at what point they would shoot down a helicopter. Like, there's got to be a level where it's like...
I think if it's posing an immediate threat,
what is it? I mean...
I don't know what kind of precautions they take, because you can't really get good radar down there. Like, we're down in the sticks, and my helicopter has like traffic systems on it, and they weren't working that great. There were so many helicopters. I mean, the thing was going berserk inside my cockpit, so I had to turn it off. Like, I would fly over the hospital, and there would be 4 helicopters. There would be 2 on the helicopter pads, 1 in the parking lot, and 1 in the backyard of the hospital. And like, so there was just so much traffic. I'm not sure what they did.
That's crazy.
They have to know, though. I mean, those helicopters have some the big green tops, they have some extremely good equipment on board.
You hope they do, but I mean, they didn't even know what was going on for days. So it's like,
I have no idea.
it's so crazy. Like you hope that they know what's going on, but then you actually hear, and it's like, oh, they didn't know.
Dude, I need the Secret Service to hit me up and say, Cleet, come film a video about our helicopters.
That would be pretty interesting. I mean, what do they call it? Marine One when the president's in it?
Yeah.
What, those big dogs that they always fly in threes.
Yeah.
I know they call them green tops. I don't know. I think they're a Sikorsky, but they're sick.
Yeah.
They're massive. I'm sure they have some sick, like, security and armaments. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, after 9/11, they upgraded that stuff pretty heavily.
Yeah, I think they're upgrading them again. I think they're getting new helicopters.
I know they were getting a new, like, Air Force One. I know they negotiated the deals on those.
Oh,
to buy
really?
new ones.
Yep. There's a new one.
What do you think they do with the old one? You think you can try to purchase yourself?
No, would take
747?
everything on it off on the thing. I mean, goodness sakes, there wouldn't be nothing
Sam
left.
used to work on Hueys, so if I get
There
one of
wouldn't
those,
be nothing left that you. I mean, when you decommission that, if you will, it's stripped. I mean, it's just, there's nothing there. I mean, if it's been used in that kind of service. Now, if it's just been used in regular service on the thing, no, you can go buy it. But if it's been used something other than that, they got some trick stuff on that.
And they're hard on those things, too.
Oh.
Like, you hear the stories of after 9/11, and it's like, yeah, we had that thing pinned to keep up with the jets that were flying next to us. So they were just, like, pinned to the, 747 or whatever it is.
Oh, really?
To keep up.
Sure.
And they're just, like, riding like that for hours. Just
yeah,
full throttle.
man.
And this is a little side note. He'll kill me for saying it, but it's okay. A lot of folks that I've talked to and comment and everything else on it say, oh, Cleet done that for the attention. Let me tell you right now, looking in the camera on the thing, no, he did not. No, he did not. And you're saying, how do you know his head? I know the guy. I've been around him for a long time. He did not, okay? So for those folks that say, oh, is this an attention grabber? No.
I don't really mind that,
100 times no.
A couple people have said that, but the overwhelming majority have been really cool about it.
Oh,
and
yes,
I don't care. I mean, at the end of the day, I did get attention out of it. It wasn't my intention. We went up there on a whim. I mean, there's
Exactly.
cameras in my helicopter at all times. If you go fly it right now, they're already sitting in there set up.
Yeah.
And we turned them on because it was crazy stuff to see. But just the ability to put the GoFundMe's on the video, one of them was at like $600 when I posted it. It's over $1 million. So if I got to take some heat for getting attention on it, doesn't mind me because I know that.
But I say to those same people on the thing, and can it? I mean, the man was out there dealing with what was there on the thing, and let's just leave it at that. You know what I mean? So that's.
I thought it was a mix of wanting to help and wanting to fly. I was like, I know Garrett will take an excuse to fly his plane.
That's
and
not.
Everybody in the world wants to,
Yeah,
But look at the risk he was taking on a brand new bird.
Of course.
I mean, that when you're flying in the mountains on the thing, you got a lot of updrafts, and he knows this as well as anybody on the thing, and those things are pretty quick. I mean, you can be in too close for something, and one comes up or down, and you don't know exactly what you're doing pretty quickly. You wind up in one of them trees.
Well, me and the other private helicopter dudes, which they should get as much credit as anybody. All these private guys, whether they transported water bottles and toilet paper or pulled people out, they all showed up, and the flying, like you said, it was the coolest flying you can do in a lot of ways. Like, I hate that it was for this reason, but for a lot of us just use our helicopters for stupid stuff. To have a real mission and be able to help people, there's nothing better to a private helicopter
That was
owner
kind of half of my thought.
than that.
It's kind of like
Absolutely.
the just in case scenario that you probably play out in your head a million times comes true, and
Exactly.
you actually can put the pavement, whatever the tire to the pavement on that, and
For sure.
do the just in case scenario
100%.
and prove that you actually can do it yourself.
Yeah, like us private guys don't get to do the cool stuff like that. So everyone was pumped to fly. I think it's at some points there was like 50, 60 helicopters just showing up for the Operation Airdrop because it wasn't like you were signed a contract and hey, I need you here at 8 a.m. It was literally just fly in.
Yeah.
And if you were there that day, they put your name on the board and gave you an assignment. And then when you came back, they erased your name. Like, that was it.
Well, there's probably service members that are trained to fly that have never actually done like missions. Because, a lot, like, we're not in an active war right now, so a lot of them actually haven't performed like missions. It's kind of weird to say like a mission, but like maybe an objective. I don't know. Like, it is a mission.
It felt like a mission when they're
it
like.
It just feels like Call of Duty to call like a mission,
Yeah, when they're like, hey, we think there's people here, and like I remember we got there and we were able to help people in Cattail Creek, and then when they were like, we really need insulin like right now, I remember I was like, now I'm on a mission. I was like, we flew that baby back in the top of the green like as fast as we could, drop down. They had it ready right back. Like, that stuff felt like we were straight up in a life-saving mission.
Well, seeing baby formula was like really crazy to see as like a father that relies on formula.
Yeah.
Like that
hit Maddie hard.
Food and water, like as adults, we can go pretty long without food.
Yeah.
Most people can go pretty long without eating. Water's pretty needed, but like formula is like, that's dire.
It's critical stuff, yeah.
Watching your baby hungry, I don't know what could hurt you more than seeing that.
That social media post, like the baby one that I had shared, that one had Maddie like on the edge of her seat because it's so relatable for her. 4-month-old baby out of formula. She's like dying to go. And we had to land like when we got it for the night. So we were like ready in the morning. Helicopter already loaded. The sun came up. We went. And when we pulled out of there with them, like that was such an amazing feeling, I think, for Maddie and especially. But we were also talking later, like when the hurricane was hitting here, like imagine a hurricane hits. It's absolutely the most terrifying thing you've ever done. You don't see anybody for 3 days. And then some random dude lands his helicopter in your front yard. Your dad walks in the front door and says, hey, this helicopter can take you to civilization. And then you get in. Like, what an insane experience that would be as a parent.
Yeah, I can't even imagine that. I mean, I think back to what was you would know where they were handing off the babies to the military leaving in North Korea, right? Was that or Laos?
Well, the start of it was in Saigon, off the rooftop there on the thing, sitting handing it off, and take this, and I'll stay here, and I'll take the punishment on the thing, but let the child go.
It's crazy, and this is in America.
Feels very similar like that.
Yeah, sure.
I'll stay here. You just take the baby, as the Black Hawk took off.
And a lot of them did. That was, and there's some of those people around today to tell that story all day. Yeah, I was one of the. I mean, couldn't remember. It was just a baby, but then they found out that was them that was on that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's mind blowing.
If it was the military, I think I'd feel a little better about it. But just some random guy in a helicopter, you're like, hey, you need to get in with this guy. I mean, I think like maybe the general public trusts helicopter people because it's like, all right, if you have this machine,
of entry,
you must be pretty good. But like as a helicopter pilot, like just knowing how many people fly around here locally without a license, it would terrify me. But like, it was all they had, dude.
Yeah, you want to say, is that guy legal?
Well,
Does he know what he's doing?
Yeah.
The equivalent in Florida is like a guy on an airboat showing up.
Yeah, I mean, but an airboat, if the motor quits, you can kind of hang out. Like,
yeah, that's true.
How'd you get over here?
Dude, a lot of these pilots were doing sick stuff, like really good piloting. I remember I was up with some guy in a Bell 206, and like him and I are landing in these crazy spots, and I'm just thinking like, I don't know this guy. We're just talking like we know what we're doing, but we were just winging it.
Yeah.
What? I don't know. Looking back, like, I wish I knew some of these guys so I could ask them. Like, I think a lot of us took risks we did not plan on taking. But when you fly over someone waving their arms, it's like impossible to keep going. And I reflected on those videos, and I definitely think that I shouldn't have done some of the things that I did because if you, like Sam was mentioning, those downdrafts, when you're heavy and a downdraft would come in, I mean, you're just done. You're going down, and who knows, maybe the helicopter will pull through. But we took risks that we probably shouldn't have, and a lot of the guys did. But like I said, 0 private accidents in that deal.
Yeah.
So pretty incredible.
What do they call it when they give the Medal of Freedom? Isn't that the highest civilian honor that the presidents give?
Sure.
I feel like some of those might be in order.
100%. Some of the pilots should get them. There was guys there for weeks. Those guys should get them.
Yeah, there should be some Medal of Freedoms handed out.
Yep.
Whether they're state level, I'm sure the states have their own that they can hand out. Even the Florida National Guard was there, I know. Even Florida recently had a response team designed just for this kind of thing.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is interesting.
I've been seeing that.
The
Florida
Helene
Guard.
up in Perry, the Florida Guard is like a first on the scene response team that's like
Which
fairly
is
new, I
interesting.
guess.
Yeah.
And it's a good representation of our country and the people that are in it. Because in other countries, and they have disasters like that, it's not the same response that we have here. And people might say, well, it's the resources. No, they got about the same resources on the thing, but it's the commitment. And the American people are just that way. That's the way we are,
I know guys that personally spent hundreds of thousands of dollars just because, and they'll never get it back, which they don't even mind. But they spent not only that, but a lot of time. And I would love to see those guys get medals of freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they've earned some kind of a plaque somewhere that has the guys on it that were there.
Yeah.
And a lot of those people, they weren't seeking, and they're not seeking recognition on the thing. And a lot of them,
Of course.
they left their families at home, and the families not knowing, hey, that guy may be back, may not be back, And it's true, because until you're sitting in that seat like Garrett does on the thing, it's different. It's very different on the thing. Flying here, the air's, your currents are kind of stable, if you will. You have some fluctuation. Yeah. But there, I'm telling you what, it's,
Well, like being in that zone too, and then Milton was coming, and I was like, we got to get prepared. Dude, Florida is so prepared for this stuff.
Yeah.
When I woke up the morning after Milton, I woke up at like 5 because I was like, all right, I'm going to go fly, see if what we can do to help. I'm like, because we fly for Manatee County Search and Rescue. So I'm talking to those guys, and I pulled up FlightAware, dude. The Coast Guard helicopters are already out. The sheriff helicopters are already out surveying. They have camera equipment, thermal. I mean, they're already on it. And North Carolina has just never seen anything like this in 100 years.
Exactly.
So they just got caught off guard, I guess. Florida, though, this is like
we're
every year
very
thing.
well prepped here. But there, that's like, you can call it storm of the century, storm of the whatever on the thing, but it's just not, there's no preparation for it.
Yeah.
They didn't know. Who would have thought that you'd have that kind of stuff going on from, you can talk to my grandparents. No, nothing like it ever happened. Well, sure enough, there it is.
It wasn't even the hurricane. It was just the rain before
just
it.
the rain.
Well, Florida would never really require a helicopter type response like that because you'll always be able to get in with like a lifted truck or a boat, and those are everywhere.
Yeah.
There's always going to be boats. There's always going to be lifted trucks.
Here they're more for spotting, I think, But
Exactly.
like you said, there's so many awesome rednecks with airboats around here.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Like people like JH when they were rescuing
Yeah.
very heavily.
Yeah.
Like a lifted truck will get you,
Which in
50 people on
in all
like, some of
reality,
those
it's
military
way
vehicles.
better to use stuff like that to save people.
So much safer. I mean,
So
you're
much
just-
safer,
Yeah.
way less risk, way
Cost.
more efficient.
Yeah.
So
It definitely makes a lot more sense. And, I was thinking about that with the helicopter. Originally, I was like, oh, Milton's coming. Like, hopefully he doesn't have to use the helicopter. But then I was like, oh, well, it doesn't really
not even
completely
Exactly.
different world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird.
We've saved one person in a helicopter in Florida, and it was the one Ian.
Yeah.
Like actually picked somebody up. But Florida, like, it's just so good here, and everyone's so prepared for water because we're a water state.
Yeah. And I mean, it was a mess also. Like the coast of Florida got really pummeled, and it's
All
sad.
those
Like,
houses are ruined.
our neighborhood, basically Bradenton, our community got pretty tore up across the Anna Marie Island up to St. Pete, Clearwater.
Yeah.
Like it's rough.
But you got your power back last out of everybody in the group. And how long was it?
72 hours maybe
4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
at most. I mean, it was 72 hours for Milton.
Some of those people up in North Carolina, I bet don't get power. Some probably never will again, but
Yeah.
some
No water, no
they're
power.
looking at 6 months.
Yeah.
I will say though, the average mountain dwelling Appalachian citizen is probably way more equipped to handle that than your average Bradenton citizen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Not to say that they, they're fine, but they're probably way more prepared and adapted.
If they lose power, they're probably like, we're not getting this back for 2 weeks. They probably just know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've already seen like tents and stuff. Unfortunately, they just got snow, which
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you believe it?
Can't catch a break. But did you see a lot of the videos of like excavators that have made so much progress on roads?
And that's private too.
Yes.
Right? A lot
Is
of that
some of that private?
Yeah, I think
A lot of it is private. A lot of it is
Really?
private because the red tape contractual stuff on it, and it's just, I don't know, they're going about this thing kind of different, if you will. So the private guys or the country people, whoever, whatever way you want to refer to them, say, wait, we can do that. We can get a road in there. So just dive in and do it.
They're getting it started
and they're getting it started. Yeah.
I saw one of them. They just took like a flatbed trailer. They just like dropped it in the
bridge?
river and just made a bridge.
Yeah, made a bridge.
it.
Yeah.
And they just put a little dirt to make the ramps, and suddenly you can get to the other side of the river.
Because a lot of the typical setting was, you have a stream here, and they build a house over there, and they got a little bridge to it, and the main road's over here. Well, when that's taken out,
Yeah.
now what are you going to do?
That was the worst of it. Is there's so many roads that were just cut here and then cut there and then cut here, and then when the water would really cut it from a landslide, it's like a 20-foot ravine to each section.
Yeah.
So you're just, unless you want to like really do some hiking, you can't even go anywhere besides a helicopter.
And even if you started hiking, you don't know if what you get to is even going to be there or have anything, or like you get there and they're just destroyed.
Could be worse than what you came from. You know?
Yeah.
So it's, yeah.
That's tough. I mean, I don't even like. I always kind of have some preparedness stuff, but
Sure.
you can only prepare so much for
For your house sliding down a hill.
Yeah.
There's not much.
Oh, man. That was so sad. And a lot of those people I knew and knew where they lived and some of it, and they're like, it's just gone. Just gone.
Your property is gone.
Yeah.
Not just your home, like your actual land that you own.
That's true. Yeah. Like, I mean,
Where can you rebuild?
you still have your like coordinate
Yeah, you get your
borders
coordinates.
of your
Yeah,
property,
yeah.
but the actual
Like it changed.
topsoil is gone.
Topsoil's gone. I mean, just
Yeah.
like the one going through 40 from Asheville over to Knoxville. So much rain, and it really started at the top. But by the time that landslide got to the highway down there, it is gaining speed, and it took it right into the Pigeon River. That was, and how they're going to fix that back, I don't know. That's just
It's
a
hard
big.
to say. I wish I would have marked this house that I saw that slid down. I mean, this house is fully intact, and you could just see the stripe from the top where it sat, just sitting at the bottom, fully intact. And I'm like, what's that guy gonna do?
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sure the house is structurally messed up, but were they in it? Did they ride it down the hill? I don't know. I went as close as I could, and I didn't see any movement, but we couldn't land. It slid down into a forest, and there was just no one came out. We circled a bunch, but stuff like that, I'm like, if your house is now on other person's property, what do you do?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you think about like Katrina a lot, where people were on the rooftops writing things on the roof, the help, like things like that, climbing out as the flood waters came up through their roofs. And you see
That's
those
crazy.
kind of, you got to almost be prepared to at least get a signal out. I saw like the mirror, which was really crazy to see that Greg posted.
Yep.
Things like that, like getting the attention is hard enough, and having the clearing and people. Yeah, there's so much. There's so much there on that.
Is Katrina when that Cajun Navy started?
Yeah.
Yes,
That
it
is.
Yeah.
Those guys were there. And then those guys were coming to Florida too for Milton. So I guess that's just a private group of people that want to help people. And that started in Katrina, right? So,
Yeah, and a lot of folks, I don't know, our property out there, meaning Garrett's property out there, was a staging area, for a lot of these crews coming in. And there's crews from all over the USA. Matter of fact, the ones that put the poles in for the drag strip, that's a Minnesota crew. And they put them things out there.
for the replacing the power poles?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was a
cool?
Minnesota crew. So we went over and said, hey, let's cook for them.
Yeah, Sam was out there cooking for all the. There was a ton of trucks staged at the Freedom Factory. Sam's out. I drive by. Sam has a table. He's like grilling with some friends. They're making food for all these people.
We had a good time.
You and Adam out there grilling up.
We had a good, we had
That's
a good
awesome.
time with it. So it's them people that were given of their time Now, some of them will get contracts on it, but a lot of them didn't, and they just was giving of their time, money, equipment, their families, all to come for that on the thing, which I was grateful for. I mean, the least we could do is cook a little something for them.
The linemen, of course, deserve an insane amount of praise and respect because those guys, at the drop of a hat, are in Florida by the thousands.
They crushed it.
It's insane to see.
How many people were out of power? I think you had a thing.
It was like up to 40% of Manatee County at one point was out of power.
I think like it was in
maybe 60.
I don't even want to guess the number, but it was a lot of people out of power.
Yeah.
These dudes got almost the entire state down to like 1% without power within 5 days.
And they got them power, but it's one of those deals. If your house is flooded up to the outlets, they have to like you have to like get them to come in and like certify it and everything. You have to change all your outlets. And my grandma's going through it right now.
Think about how many poles and trees are down just in this area. It was just, that's a job.
Yeah, they came over and started that morning and said, we should have your power by tonight. And I'm thinking, I don't know. There's a lot of poles out there and the wires all over the place. And sure enough, they did.
You give them a couple extra cheeseburgers.
Here,
That's why
I got a whole
Sam's like,
pan full of
hey,
you
by
guys.
the way,
Come on.
my house is right there.
Does feeding them slow them down or speeding them up?
Well, we served them two
You want
meals.
to feed them too much?
2 meals each day, but it was good.
People are like, Cleetus, it's so nice of you to let people stage at the track. I'm like, yeah, because I wanted them to put our power back up.
Yeah. And the track survived pretty well, right?
Oh, the track did good. I mean, I think total for our stuff, we're under 50 grand in damage, which is better than most hurricanes.
Yeah.
And we got hit the hardest.
Yeah.
But I think because of the other ones, they like cleaned us out. So like all of our structurally unstable stuff is already toast.
Yeah.
So we just lost like garage doors. What else did we lose?
Well, there was, the one side of the building down there on the
cars.
thing, which was, took it off.
Oh, we lost the back of the shop, lean-to, Freedom Factory sponsor boards, a lot of fencing. Actually,
Lots of
I
fencing.
know we're over 25 grand in fencing.
Lots of fencing come down. I don't know if you saw the new fencing. It's great. And they put it up in a hurry. But
That was chain link fence that came down, right?
Yeah, but it's from 1970.
It's still crazy because there's nothing really to catch wind there
Yeah.
for that to come down.
BMP
but like I
is,
say, it's like football. When one starts, they all pile on. And when one started, like, okay, let's run over there. And it was a mess, yeah.
drag strip, I'm guessing $140,000 in damage.
Yeah, it's a good guess.
If it got hit a little harder.
Yeah. Thankfully,
Some of the buildings on it
Yeah.
were the thing that kept some of the buildings from getting completely crushed with the golf carts inside of it.
I know. that
Troy's golf
sucks.
carts.
Troy's golf carts got hit.
Oh,
dude.
Those
man,
weren't
it's like,
Vicks.
okay.
Sir Troy's.
I'm glad. I just saw a post actually like today that said hurricane season is coming to a close. But there's one hitting Cuba.
Yeah.
But they're like, with the cold front we just got, there's no way for a hurricane to make it up where we live.
They hit Cuba a lot, but you never really see anything or hear anything out of Cuba, which is probably by design.
That's about
That's
it.
interesting.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's a very odd situation they
interesting
got
point.
going on there. Because you hear Puerto Rico got hit, and then it hits Cuba too, but you never hear anything about Cuba.
Yeah.
Well, you can't hear anything bad about that. I mean, come on.
Yeah, of course.
Think about it.
They're perfect.
Think about it.
So let's talk a little bit about World Cup. World Cup is obviously next event, and from my understanding, I was with Ty yesterday, and he was saying you guys have a lot of things going that aren't quite ready
Yeah.
to go, which is odd. It surprised me.
Yeah. You know us.
We're going to be ready. Let me
I mean, Leroy is for sure ready,
Yeah.
right? He just hasn't ran with his body on, but it's all on. Mullet going together.
Yes.
Eagle going together.
That one's the biggest surprise.
This is what it is.
Hearing Eagle because
Let me text Cameron.
seeing some of Cameron's posts, you wonder if they're delayed, but I don't think they're delayed.
Now think about this. When you get the captain over here into these projects, and he's like, we're going on this. Let me say it again. We are going, and we're going with. Oh, look at it. With that car, we're going with that car.
I mean, it looks good.
It's a roller.
That's good.
And the thing is, and when
It's a roller.
and when he says, we are going with that car. Okay, to all involved, we're going to that car. You got it? Okay, we got it.
With oil pressure.
And with oil pressure. We're going with oil pressure. We're going to run, too. We're not just going to drag it up there for static display. We're going to run. Like, Okay, so everybody has their marching orders. So that's what we go on. That's
I
what
think
we're
we're
doing
looking
right
pretty
now.
good.
Oh, it's
I mean, definitely to like have it running for there looks pretty good, but like
I mean, it ain't coming unless it's qualified.
we're gonna be
true.
qualified.
Like I think we have to run a 399 with Eagle to make it.
yeah.
Did that man say 99?
First day
Yeah,
of
okay.
testing.
It's a 399 or a 640.
I'll take either one.
I mean,
I'll take
unless,
it
640 sounds easier.
unless
than
it breaks,
399.
that thing's going a 640. Like,
640 sounds a lot easier than
But see,
399.
the thing is, though, at this level of these cars, I have found that when you hire a tuner, which Pete, it will be like our, long-term tuner, but since we got a Proline motor, we did a Proline, we did all the stuff to make it Proline happy, which the fuel tech, and we've hired one of their tuners that's going to give us a tune for the car that runs all the other Proline motors.
Yeah.
And then they say, put the 4-link bars at this height, this angle, set the ride height at this, and then they give you a tune. And like, all them cars are pretty similar. It ain't like it's a tune for a Mustang that's going in a, like, there's other 69 Camaros that have this exact same combo in them. So I feel pretty confident that it won't take very many runs to go a 640.
No, I don't think 640 sounds very. I think 399 sounds harder on a newer car than 640 because it's hard to eighth mile really strong, but that thing has enough power to back half pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, I really, honestly, I have no idea. I've never driven a car like that. It hasn't even ran. It's like it could definitely be an epic failure.
The fact that
don't say
nobody's
that.
really driven a car like that though.
On my crew?
No, just in general, because there's not many cars like that that are on a small tire trying to go quarter mile.
Oh, I'm not going quarter mile. I'm going 800 to 1,000 feet.
Yeah,
Really fast.
really
Shutting it off.
in a big hurry. Whew. Yeah,
It ain't. We're not going to be on throttle through the quarter.
It really can't. I mean, it's really.
I mean, I think the mile per hour would be so outrageous that it'd be dangerous. Like, I think this is a click it
it'd
off.
be
at
resembling an
two-
airplane at that time. You
I
know
think
what
we're
I mean?
going to click it off at 250.
So
Type
is
deal.
it geared for quarter mile, or are you gonna
It's geared for 1,000 feet.
cool? Because I would like it to run. Because if it's geared for a quarter mile, then
Yeah.
you never know.
Well, it's
you know,
it's
Sam.
an
an
8 mile
I'll tell you.
car, but World Cup is the only race that'll require us to go quarter mile. So
I'm excited.
I have
for it.
no idea what the hell's going to happen.
It's definitely there's a lot of my brain is rolling thinking about that car because there's a lot. That car's a lot, and
Yeah.
obviously,
Oh, it's-
I don't
you
even
are
know what
capable of
What
it
are we
all.
doing building that thing, by
It's
the way?
going to be a handful. I can tell you right now, though. Cleetus is on the job, and I'm telling you, if it can be handled, if that Bronco can be ridden, he can do it. Good.
I will say I don't think there's many other people in racing that are quite as good at build management, and I think that's 90% of getting these cars done is build management, which is something that people don't talk about much. Like managing like the build to get finished, because like
Yeah.
there's so many moving parts on a build like that, or
And
Leroy, or
It's all Cameron, like on that
but
deal.
even like mullet and like parts and like
Well, just back up a little bit and look at the truck, the day-old truck. How about that? If you looked at the progress through that, I mean, it's like it wasn't, now it is, and running, and done everything quite well.
Yeah,
I'd say.
definitely people don't realize behind the scenes how much is ordered before we start a build. Because people think our build's going to pop up like, dude, there's so much planning
yeah.
in some ways. A lot of ways we're winging it, but
Well, a lot of parts aren't readily available. They're like, 8-week back order or something like that.
And it's like, bam, the drive shafts are there, and bam, the axles, like, it all, it's like, seems to happen all at the same time, but really, we ordered that stuff months ago.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
in
pretty
come
cool.
the parts just in time. Well, it's got a lot of horsepower behind that too. I mean, we have horsepower under the hood, yes. We got horsepower in other places too. So that part will be here. That part will be here. Yes. Okay.
Takes a lot of capital, too. Like, back in the day, it was like, make a video, get that cash, buy a new part, make a video, use that cash for the next part. So, it has taken years, obviously, to get to the level where we can pay for the build. We're basically paying for the entire build before it's finished, which is weird to reflect on.
Well, basically, I mean, with Cameron, it's one of the best chassis shops in the country, does very select vehicles, but his level of detail is very hard to match from anywhere else.
Yeah, the car is super nice.
Yeah.
Arguably the nicest thing I own.
Every single one of his cars that come out of that shop perform exponentially well.
Really well.
So it's nice to know that it's coming out of there. It's also interesting that you built a radial tire car instead of a big tire car, and I'm sure Victor has already probably messaged you every day telling you should have built a Pro Mod.
Well, why would I build a Pro Mod when Victor has one?
Very good.
It's like
You already got one in the family, so
Victor,
why
it's like I have a Pro Mod. If I need a Pro Mod, I have one. And if Victor needs a radial car, he has one.
Yeah.
That's there is definitely some strategic conversations there. It doesn't even matter. Like if I called Vic and just wanted to run a Pro Mod race, it wouldn't even be a thing. They have this, and the cars have the same motor, so if he needs a motor, mine can just go right in his, and vice versa.
Yeah, and they're both turbo cars, so they're going to be similar
We have
kind of maintenance.
We literally have all the same stuff. It's built by different shops.
Yeah.
And his fits a big tire.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You just steel quarters and roof,
Yeah.
which is not.
That's the thing is not being steel roof and quarters takes you out of a lot of races.
Yeah.
So we wanted to have one car that has it, and I prefer to have that car. Like I prefer to have the radial car. So just worked out that he wanted a Pro Mod, and we already know that they're basically one and the same.
Yeah, you guys are close enough where it doesn't really matter, and it's better off to have the two separate cars that are campaigning as Freedom Factory, Bradenton Motorsports Park cars in two separate classes.
We were kind of like, why would we build the same car to compete against each other in some ways? But, I mean, my car will be faster on a radial for sure.
It should be. I mean, radial tires are faster.
But I know he's going to put a radial tire on it at some point and come for me, and I'm ready. Not ready, but I will be ready.
Like RVW trim type of thing.
We're going to race in some form. Honestly, I'll beat him on his big tire if I have to.
I can't wait to shine that new paint. Did you happen to see that?
We built the car for Sam, really.
That thing is so pretty. Oh, my.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
It's low. That's going to be... That's a low car. You're going to have to put it up on quick jacks.
Well,
to shine
it's for Smeechits. So if we sit down in it, but I can get me a little sit-down stand. That car is low. Yeah, it's low.
You got like where you lay on your belly to...
Yeah, exactly.
to do the
Exactly.
quarters.
He'll do it.
But I want that thing to shine all over when it's out there because it will be looked at all over. When that one's parked, someone's going to say, we have got to get over and look at that. So
Speaking of full-blown race cars, how's your F-150?
Let me
Saw
tell
it
you
out there in the driveway.
Let me tell you about the fun truck. They call it the work truck on
Spray
it.
Wax Express.
That is so much fun. And you're hearing it from a GM guy, but I'm telling you right now, that thing is so much fun. And you can pick on these little, let me correct you here, within the speed limit drag races, you pull up next to somebody at the light and you say, give them a nod and they look over and they're like, a truck, yeah, okay. And they say, yeah. So you reach over and hit the little 4H button, and that ain't the hands hard held hand. Hit that, 4 high. And of course you got your seatbelt on, and poof, you're gone. So you get down to the next light and you look over like, okay, we can go now. And they're like, a truck? Yeah.
Well, it sits at stock ride height on steelies.
Yeah. We do have a lowering kit for it.
We do.
At
And
night, we got to put that
It
on.
looks pretty basic. It doesn't
you
have
look at it and
any
you think,
bed liner or anything in
no,
it.
no. It's just,
Jim actually picked up jack stands with it because he was driving it because you guys put TBMs on it. And he made sure he put microfibers down before he put the jack stands in the back.
and you look in there and you think, wow, it's just a truck. Yeah, but it's so much.
You can't scratch his bed
It
paint.
is so much fun.
I tried to put something in there one time and I was denied access.
No bed liner or anything, just keep the paint
I think you
nice.
want a bed liner, right?
I think I'm going to put a bed liner in it because, I'm going to be hauling some things in it. And I got up into the other day, and he'll kill me for saying I got up into the other day and even clayed the bed and buffed it out. So now I'm telling you I did. You're welcome to look at it.
Should I answer this? It's Cameron.
Oh, yeah. No way you
Hey,
clayed.
buddy. I'm
did,
on I'm on Cooper's podcast. We were just wondering what the deal is with Eagle right now. So if you want to...
We just, the panel bomb was setting up. We just set the body on for the last time before lunch. And got to finish putting screws in the front window, and it's ready to go.
He's
Are you
working
talking
on
about
it right
Leroy?
now?
Yeah.
Okay, so in the morning I can pick it up?
Yeah, I was going to ask you. I got Brian here with me, the one that's going to do the seats. Do you want us to bring it to you in the morning, and then he can work on the seats during the day while you're testing or whatever?
Absolutely. What about Eagle? How's Eagle looking?
Looks good.
Ooh.
Ready to fire up?
What day are we going to fire it up?
I think Wednesday's the plan.
Okay.
The wire guys showed up while we were at lunch, so I'll get with them when I get back.
Okay.
They're there now doing everything, and if we're missing anything, we'll address it ASAP, and we should be ready to fire up Wednesday.
All right, brother. Let me know. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, what time do you want me at the shop?
Man, you don't got to come till later because we don't have the rental till, tomorrow night anyway, so.
That is.
All right, well, keep me posted. We'll probably come a little early anyways. That way we can work on the seats.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, buddy. See ya.
All right, boss.
Bye.
See ya.
Dang.
That is wow. Very
It's all
good.
possible.
Are you
Wow.
fired up?
Yeah.
Are you very excited about
I am
this car?
extremely excited. I mean, Eagle comes with his own worry. Like, I worry about that car. It is very fast. It's also very expensive, and I want to keep it nice. So I don't want to go like,
Don't be skinning up my paint.
I don't want to treat this car like our other ones. Like, this car has to be taken very serious, which is going to be a challenge for my team.
James,
Yeah.
mostly.
Jackson, it's not going to be allowed to scratch it,
Please
gotta change the rods.
reinforce that, would you? Please
We got
reinforce
to change
that.
the rods and stuff. We can't really be joking around. Like the other cars, they're already seasoned.
Yeah.
They've been salt and peppered for years. So Eagle, we're going to try and keep nice because
Oh, this is a serious car.
it's a valuable.
This is a
asset.
serious car. I'm telling you, it's a very serious car. I think and it'll. I mean, you're going out there going supersonic and everything on it. You better be serious about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing locking up is going to be.
I'm excited.
When that thing hits lockup, it's probably, you're going to know it.
I remember he's
be
telling me
hard.
about the first time Mother
gonna
had
hit.
the lockup on it. There's like a whole nother engine in there. Wow.
It's going to hit.
Yeah, that'll be cool. I mean, James did a pretty good paint job on his 240, right?
Rattle can, yeah.
Yeah. What was your review on that?
Actually, it looks pretty good.
Looks good in the dark, okay? Or in subdued light, okay? Looks in subdued light, looks great. Wow.
He thought people wouldn't notice at the No Time race. They'd think it's like a different car. You know how the No Time guys do that? Every couple of
There's
years
no
they change
mistake
it.
in Lieutenant
Change
Dan.
it. Yeah, right. But James, there's no kidding nobody on that. We all knew, buddy. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. We saw your little rattle can assortment on the thing, empty sitting over there. We got you.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about Sam's success because it's such an interesting story. When would you say in your life, like what age did you find success? Because you've had so many different lives that we've talked about on the last podcast.
But let me.
Or
It's gonna be
how
a
do you
hard.
define
It's a
success?
hard
let's
thing
hear
to
the
define. But
definition.
let me put it this way. Sometimes we have to put success and happiness together. Okay. Now, when you do that, now you can be successful out there. When I say successful, you might maybe equate that to money or whatever, or things, and you might have some of both those, but you might also be unhappy. Okay. I would say, and not because he's sitting here, the combination of that is right now. I mean, it's terrible. I had to wait till this long in life. Like, dang, that guy's decrepit. This long in life to enjoy it. But it's true. And when I wake up in the morning, I think, what do I get to do today? Work on my hot rods, be around them, And it has its own set of rewards, which are you can't define them. I mean, once that racing stuff gets in your blood, you can't flush it out. You can go to any hospital you want to. They can't take it out. It's there.
Yeah.
And to me, that, even this late in life on the thing, is probably the most satisfying times, if you will, apart from your children being born, but the most satisfying times that you can have, I think. I mean, that's just from me, because nothing is a chore. It's something to look forward to, and that's really quite different, I think, because in work, it's like, oh boy, here it is Monday, we got to go to work, and Friday, yay, we're going to have a party. But in that, it's something I get to do every day, and it's different every day at our shop. Every day is different, and it's really an adventure every day, and that's not a paid political announcement. That's just the way that it is. I'm telling you, and to be thankful for that, the thanks cannot express it. I'll put it that way, because my own daughters say to me, "You're really different now. I mean, it's like you're happy all the time." Well, yeah. I mean, I said before, but no, it is. It's something that it brings it right out in you out on the thing. So that's and you get to go to the racetrack, get to see people and the fruition of what you've been working on, doing it. Oh my! That's why this new car is so. Whew, yeah.
Well, you make it a lot more fun for us too, Sam.
It is. This whole thing is the crew that we have. They're not here, but let me tell you right now, we got a very unique crew, but they're good. When it requires coming together, they come together. Now, once in a while, they'll be individual, as we all do. But when when Cleetus says, "Okay, guys, we got to get this together," like, okay, here we go.
Calling them unique is a very politically correct.
And we are unique. We are unique. I mean, we are unique. Each one has its own little idiosyncrasies about it, but we're a quite unique crew on the thing. But
I'm sure people think that we don't ever have shop drama.
Oh, well.
But it exists in all shops, just so
everything. No shop is immune to it. No shop is immune,
It's not fake created for the TV drama.
No, it's a real deal.
Gonna lose the shop.
We never show it on footage, so people have never experienced McFarland Racing shop drama, but like any place, there's just people butt heads on things, and it's part of it.
Well, especially in competition.
Well, any place you have humans and competition and all like that, you're going to have that because one see it one way, another sees it another way on the thing. But then you have to have somebody come in and says, "Here's the way it is," and 99 times out of 100, that's the best way. Though we may not admit it, that was the way to do it. So
I don't know if we can use the "I fired Sam" title now after he said something that nice.
Well, now you think about
from church.
What do you think about
we got to scrap that title.
The things we've been through, I say we've been through in this crew in the last few years of what, okay, this was a hard decision. Well, he made those decisions, and at the time, a lot of us thought, I don't know so much about that, but it was the right one. And that's, when you're sitting and you get to look way out here, and we're back here, okay, he gets to see things different than what we do. So, and you just follow your marching orders and go out there and it's like, okay, if it don't pan out, now you can whine. But if it does pan out, then hush,
Well, I've often wondered about Garrett. Obviously he gets a lot of it from your dad as business owner and stuff too, but like the 1,000-foot view of everything that's going on versus the micro view of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To be able to zoom out and see like a bigger picture of it all is very hard for most people to grasp. And I think seeing the bigger picture maybe incites a lot more fear in most people. You've talked a lot about like, making the big commitment, pushing all the chips in, and like, you got to figure it out. Put yourself into a corner and like,
it's all risk.
Now I'm in the corner. What do I do?
Well, think about this. The name of the new car, what is it? Eagle. Now, check the eyesight on an eagle. He can sit in a tree somewhere way over yonder.
Love that.
And there's a mouse over here. And he'll think that mouse's pattern for a few minutes, and then all of a sudden he just, when everybody else, even up close, well, how do you see that?
Yeah.
Well, he's looking from way over here somewhere. Well, that's what we have in our leadership on the thing. It's like, okay, I get the 1,000-foot view here. Here's what to do, and here's what we got to do. Here's what we're going to do. And so long as I'm at the helm of this ship, here's what we're doing.
Yeah.
But, and then when it all pans out, it's like, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's our team.
Well, he has like a good knack for it.
You guys are killing me.
Yes.
I mean, we both have worked with you for, me probably longer than Sam, but, in a different avenue of things where it was like, maybe you had enough money to fill up the truck with gas that month.
But you get to see the grounds for the decisions, both here and then when you get out there to where that you were going to on the thing. It's like, good call. Yeah, great call.
Yeah, well,
and that's what feels weird sometimes. It's like hard to see in the moment for most, but then long enough out, it's like, oh, wow.
It's like ELO says, blinded by the light. Well, yeah, and just as soon as you get out there, it's like, okay. And then some might say, yeah, that's what I'd have done too. Oh, get off of it.
And would you say that's more upbringing or like learning? Because you went to school for entrepreneurship. So, I mean.
I would say mostly mentorship. Mr. Alan Shervitz is
training.
My parents as well, but Mr. Allen, I owe. Like, everyone thinks he's a RC plane builder on our channel. That guy has been there for all of my major risk critical decisions. So, but yeah, upbringing. I mean, like, if you don't care about people, I think I can't say you won't make it, but like, there's a lot of people are successful that don't care about people, but it's usually like one person got really rich off of something like selling software.
Yeah.
But in order to bring a large group of people up with you, you just have to care about people. And like my parents taught me to care about people and also how to calculate risk well. And that's probably the two most important things.
Alan always said a lot of stuff that every time Alan talks business, I usually listen because the way that he talks about it is so nonchalant compared to others.
Dude, it's unbelievable.
One of his ones that I really like is how he was so fixated on firing himself if he had like a job to do. He was like, if I had a job to do at my business, I would push that off to somebody else as soon as I could.
That's interesting.
And then I'd find the next thing to do.
Yeah, it is hard to
off.
delegate. When you're early in business, it's so hard to delegate. And he definitely trained me on that well.
Yeah.
And I remember actually a very specific example of when Alan made a good call when we worked together. Remember when we ordered the Boost on Board stickers and we came up with the Boost on Board, like the baby on board mock-up? Didn't they come in really small or really big? It was one or the other.
Too small.
They came in really small. And it was a big deal to us at the time because we had spent like a couple grand on them, which was a lot of
It came
merch.
from China and it was like
Yeah, it was months.
weeks, months, whatever. Yeah.
I remember I called Alan because, and I would never even think to call Alan about that anymore. But like thinking back on it, like I'm like, oh my God, this is a big deal. So I call Alan and I was like, what do you think we should do? Should we call the company and tell them, we need this one or whatever? But basically I had prepped myself to call the company and order the bigger ones. And he said, they came in, they're like tiny. And he said, call them and talk to them about the problem and then like basically leave it with them. And then they came back and they said, hey, we're just not even going to charge you for the small ones. We're going to send you the big ones. And I was like, I don't know. It was just such a simple thing, but it worked out so much more favorable for us because, and that's such a small example of what Alan has done.
Yeah. Those small kicks at that size can really be detrimental to a business. Like those little, it may have been a larger kick at the time, but like a kick like that could have really hurt.
Well, we were kind of in panic mode and we were like just going to fix it immediately. And that mentorship is so key. Mm-hmm. If you can find a mentor, it is the absolute greatest thing you can do for a business. Yes. Is find, because you cannot learn business. It is experience. Like you can learn about business. You can't learn business. And that's like the biggest thing. I remember working for Kyle even, like something happens, it feels like the biggest thing in the world. Looking back on that stuff, it was so tiny, but you don't feel that difference until you've just done business for a long time.
Well, I was reading last night and the book that I was reading talking about Tiger Woods a little bit, and it was saying Tiger Woods is the best golfer of all time in the history. And guess what? He's got a coach. That helps him when he's practicing. He still has a coach and probably multiple coaches that help him on his swing.
He's better than them.
And he's far better than them. But like he still goes to a coach.
Yeah.
And even like LeBron James still goes to his coaches for basketball. Like they don't just like know it all.
And you have to have someone that is not only more experienced, but when you choose your mentor, like you almost want to choose someone that doesn't have the same personality as you. And I'm not saying like Alan and I have a similar personality, but his way of thinking is way less erratic than mine. So like if you can find a mentor that is successful, is been around business for a while, you definitely don't want a guy 2 years older than you or that's been in business only 2 years longer than you. Not saying you can't, but and then also is a slightly different personality type. That's like major.
It's very important on the YouTube side of things as well. I think, somebody that understands YouTube just even like 20-30% better more than you. Even me, like I have friends that are YouTubers also, and we talk all the time on just like strategy and like kind of just like anything really.
The key to YouTube when you're small is collaboration. You have to have it. I mean, it takes so much longer unless you go viral, to go up the traditional way, collaborations and then learning between each other. Like you posted a thing on Facebook about how YouTube had blocked tobacco and alcohol ads. Like I switched those off 6 months ago, but you and I hadn't talked, and then I could have given you that. But I saw in your post that you posted about it, and like 10 people were like, "Oh, thanks for telling me," because your ad rates will go up now.
Yeah, it's weird, and thankfully the ad rates are already pretty well on that channel. But like, again, it was gambling and alcohol.
Yeah, YouTube is automatically blocking gambling and alcohol ads as they reintroduce them to the platform. They just automatically turn them off for you.
Yeah, and there was a list of
You
like
weren't in
50
the
other
know.
like sensitive topics that they didn't block. They were just like fine with. It was like bare skin, political, religious. That stuff wasn't blocked, but just gambling and alcohol. That was the one that they were like, yeah, this one's.
But collaborating is where that stuff. That's where you learn.
One of my friends was actually like, "Don't post that because we're getting the like you don't want everyone to know." I was like, "Yeah, I don't care."
Well, see, YouTube mentors is what I need. Yeah, big time. So I'll be at the mercy of them people.
I mean,
Yes.
you have the best YouTube mentors around.
The
I mean,
problem
you
is
know.
he won't ask.
Oh,
He won't.
your time is so valuable. Well, wait a minute.
I love helping you with this stuff.
It's just, but it means so much too. But because I love to learn it. Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
It's kind of like, oh,
I still want you to write a book. I think that's still something that we need to find a publisher and just
Mr. Sam?
We had
100%.
absolutely.
there's so much been through in a lifetime on the thing. The people that I got to meet. I was asking someone the other day. Do you remember? There's a guy named Stahl, Stahl. He made headers, and this is way back old school stuff on the thing. And when he came out with those, people said, "Oh no," because it came out. It was the same size as a port on the exhaust, but it came out about an inch, and then it expanded. And he said, "This will evacuate the chamber better." They're like, no. So he actually proved it that it did. Now, when you got a forced situation like in turbo or something like that, doesn't matter on the thing. But when you're doing, like say, the old NA stuff, when it would come out that little bit, it's kind of like a two-stroke expansion, only this is for a four-stroke. And people like that, because this guy was way ahead of his time, But
Yeah, it's like listening to all the old NASCAR guys talk about the cheatered up stuff that they would do is always
Nitrous in
awesome.
the frame. Oh.
People like, Jeremy always talk about Smokey Eunuch or do like all kinds of, I think that's what, yeah. And they would do all kinds of crazy things and loved that kind of stuff of the little minute things that you can do.
It'd be cool if you wrote a book. If we found someone that could just like sit and type while you just talk.
Yeah, like an autobiography on Mr. Sam.
Chapter 1.
get this, Junior Johnson, which everybody knows in that thing. Page 1 on the thing right here. He done the underneath of his car one time. Now get this, and this is a fact. You can look it up. He had the whole underneath bondoed. They didn't do all the checking it to do, so it made that whole
Like
underneath,
that.
And he's just running away from the field, and I said, "Oh, foul! You can't do that." Well, as James would say, "Says who?" And then they put
Should try that on a Crown Vic.
that's what
Do
you
like
do.
a slick bottom Crown Vic and
Bondo
see how
the
much
bottom.
faster it is.
Yeah, the whole
Maybe
bottom,
not Bondo,
the
but
whole
like
bottom of it was
sheet of
covered
aluminum.
in
I got a lot of Bondo.
Yeah,
Sounds heavy.
It's not like.
It might be a smidge heavier than that.
yeah.
I think, Sam, if anything, maybe you should do like some fireside chats where you just, video, microphone, and just kind of like
That would be easy.
talk to the people and just document all this. Because we were talking before we started of legacy, I guess. Not just
Yes.
legacy, but also talking to, because you got grandkids and stuff. And Garrett, you got kids. It feels like almost, how do you leave them yourself? How do you leave them like your way of thinking, your advice? And
Well, I'll take that to heart, and I'll start doing that. I don't know if we'll call it a fireside chat or whatever. We'll just call a little time together on it.
Buffer
you don't
sound.
want to be like
And,
FDR.
And my grader will be to say, "Hey, sounds okay, but do this or this." So okay, fine, I'll do that. I
I'll
can
help you with your thumbnail and titles, and that'll get.
Thank you.
That'll get the
I
ship
can take
rocking.
instruction. I can take instruction. I really can. I really can.
The problem is he's going to want to like learn how to edit it and everything instead of just like offloading it to somebody else when you don't even bother with all that stuff.
Okay, good. I won't. No,
Editing
'cause-
is a brutal process.
I heard what's his name? Cars and Bids, Doug DeMuro was like, when I thought of doing this, I was like, oh, I'm going to learn to code the website. I'll just learn how to code.
No.
He was like, that was the worst idea ever instead of outsourcing that. Because, you know, like you're probably similar. It's like, I'll just learn how to fabricate.
Yeah. I mean,
instead of outsource.
That, I think the only reason we brought all our stuff in-house is because, like, just relying on people sucks. But we'll find someone you can rely on.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank
dragging
you.
things around like dragging a car 2 hours to go get work done is insane to
Yeah,
think
we used
about.
to do it all the time.
Yeah.
Take
It's
our car's
so
profile.
slow.
Yep. Yeah.
And even dyno time and
And then you
things like
can't
that.
monitor it and say, hey, that needs to be this way or that way, you know? So
Yeah.
that's tough.
Yeah. It's funny to think about. Alan is also kind of Victor's mentor with the other track.
Yeah.
It's funny that he's like both track mentors.
Yeah, we've shared Alan as
Think about this. Is
Victor introduced me to him.
as some old country people would say, but the times they are changing. It's going to be great. Going to be great.
Well, so we're talking about Sam, your success, and it's weird that you're talking about now, but you've had successful businesses like
Oh, goodness sakes, yes.
Multiple times.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
He's just being nice.
No, I
He's
have.
been
I had-
successful for
we have. We had
long time.
quite a few, you know. But going along with what you guys said, like in 1988, boy, that's 100 years ago, Rick and I had, we'd come up with this business idea. We used to clean up cars together, and he was my business partner there. So he said one time, he said, it'd be nice if we could find products that we didn't mind to put on our own cars. And I said, yeah, well, I'll just make our own. And ha. It's about 2 weeks later, I saw him again, and he said, was you serious? And I said, well, yeah. He said, well, let's just do it. And boy, think about it. I mean, we didn't have a pot to pin or wind to throw it out of on the thing, but we started with just nothing. I mean, nothing. And he said, well, what do you want to do? And I said, well, what are we going to do? And he said, I'll go to school to be the chemist, and you do the inside. And I said,
Wow.
no problem, bud. We
I
got
didn't
it.
know that he went to school for the chemistry.
Oh, yeah,
I was
yeah.
gonna say, what do? You go to the library and check out a book? Like, how do
Well,
you start?
he said, I'm going to start with oil and vinegar. Why are you starting there? He said, well, look at your salad dressings in the store. And he said, what do you got? He said, now, if you had a way to make them things go together. So this guy introduced him, a mentor introduced him to a real chemist person on the thing. So he started school. And the guy said, oh, that's an easy one on things. He said, well, it's easy when it's not everybody doing it. And he showed him how to molecularly put stuff like that together. Well, that's a lot of it. When you have products sitting on the shelf, that separation thing, yeah, you can shake it up and it's okay. But the true learning is having it stay together, sitting on the shelf, you know, for an extended period of time.
Huh.
And that was an adventure. That was an adventure. People tell us, and people are so encouraging. You guys are crazy, you know that? You shouldn't be doing that. You can't do that. Look who you got to compete with. You can't do. Oh,
How long did you own your detail
30 years.
manufacturing?
Who were you
business?
competing with at the time, even though?
How many years?
30.
30 years.
We started out, okay, one of our things that we wanted to make, and one of our first products, and we still make it today, or they do, is Wesley's Bleach White. And it's not a plug for Wesley's, but I'm just saying, but that stuff's hard on everything around it. It does its job, and we do white wall cleaning with it, but you couldn't get it on nothing else because it's spotted. And he said, if we had one that would do that and wouldn't hurt the clear coat or whatever on it, yeah. Well, that was one of our first products right there. And then had an interior cleaner and a tire shine. Well, and get this, we started out, the original name of the company was 4-Star Products. That's kind of corny, but we thought we had 4-star products. Oh, these are performers. So thus the company. Now, it's a bit corny, but that's where it all started on 4-Star Products. So.
Well, it set Sam so far apart. Like, you know, there's so many influencers that have detailing products.
Yeah.
But none of them can even hold a candle to that because they're all just private label for the
Yeah,
most
Mr.
part.
Sam's are like straight up
deal.
home
Straight up
chemist,
deal.
like legit.
Straight up
Like
deal.
you use it and you're like, damn, this is actually way better
Yeah,
than
and
some of the
that's,
stuff available.
it almost puts so many other ones to shame because like
Dude,
they just don't. They're
you could
not
ask-
that guy.
You could ask any, well, I'm not gonna say all, but like most influencers about, say, one of their car products. Like, what's the main ingredient besides water? They wouldn't know.
Yeah,
But
what are the
Mr.
active
Sam,
ingredients?
he'll break it down.
I could rattle them all off for you. You know, we made this pact with each other that if we're going to make a product, it had to do what the name was on the thing. and not just have a named product up there and put, rose water in it or whatever on the thing, call it a spray wax. No.
So
if we're going to put one out there, let's put it for real.
You're saying the spray wax sprays wax?
It's actually wax in that. I mean, it really is. I mean, it's really what's in there.
Well, most influencers pick how much money they want to make and work their way backwards from there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Sam started with wanting
Absolute
to make a good
coincidence.
product
Yeah.
and then worked his way
And
out.
we have sold a lot of spray wax because of that reason. If you buy it, it's kind of hard to go to another product.
Yeah. And once
So
you use it, get due to the conditions of what is for use on the thing, it's what it's supposed to
And
be.
it has his face on it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
how could you possibly not want Sam spray wax when his face is on it?
How does that make you feel about like other products though, like potentially coming out with? Because now it's like set the bar so high on like.
No, we just only sell Sam's products.
But like even across the board, like there's other products, but the bar is set so high on like private label, like engineered products that it's like almost tough.
Like, are you saying like if we were to list other people's
Or like make another product, because like shirts are kind of like, everybody uses the same garments for the most part.
Luckily, I mean,
But even like a food or beverage or like something else.
yeah, I mean, in the detail stuff, it's nice because Sam's got that whole niche on lock. But, on the T-shirt, like the rest of the products, I mean, they're just different. So I don't worry there. But detail stuff, it's like we could never list anything else. If Sam left, we'd be toast.
But
We'd
the
be
thing of
done
it is,
for. But we have a lifetime contract.
yes, he does. Yes, he does. And
If he leaves, we're going to.
when I'm gone, the daughters come in on the thing, and they already know the whole deal. So
Already got the contract.
already there. So they just have to. Okay, here we go.
It's a contract drawn on a napkin that we lost. So we don't have it. We just know it exists.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, you got a nice Super Rat, and the IS 300, right?
Yes.
Those seem like spray wax
They
vehicles.
say, yeah. I tell you right now, we had the benefits. A minute ago I was going to finish on it. The benefits of getting to be with this man right here is unbelievable.
He's got some marketing power.
Oh, gee, goodness sakes. One time he had asked our merchandise manager, said, is any of the products flat? And he said, well, yeah, this one here, He named off this one product. So what do? He says, we got to do a little skit on this one right here. Okay, now here it is, flatline, like it's dead. I mean, it was selling good. It's going along here. So we do this little skit on it, and he asked him in just a few days on, how's it look now? Boom, here.
Which one was that?
That was an interior cleaner.
Oh.
And he's like, here's what we got to do. And it was just,
Well, you don't even realize it, but you yourself are like your own marketing, like your personality people naturally love it because you are just Sam. Like we all three have our own marketing thing just because of who we are. And like utilizing yours to sell spray wax, like it just goes hand in hand because your product is so good. You're such a likable person, and that's why people want to support it. So the marketing's easy with you.
I appreciate them people more than they know.
And the authentic of it, you just can't beat that.
Yeah, it has
no
his
one
blood
can
in
beat
it.
that.
People don't even know that. We take it.
We went through a lot of tests with it. A lot of tests. People will test of their own. There's a couple little tests you can do with it, and it's passed all the tests. And I don't know. I've had such a good time with it. But then my marketing mentor in this thing, we started out in some of that back in the days of pay-per-click. Oh, that's a good way to go broke. How do you go broke in a business like that? Pay-per-click. Because you got to, let's do the 75-cent one on the thing. But each click was 75 cents. Well, people could run your bill up in a heartbeat and not buy anything. You know what I mean? But now then, with the promoter that we have, which is sitting on my left, it's incredible. He knows that already, but I'm not telling him something he doesn't know. If you don't have that, you're just kind of floundering around out there.
I'll never forget when I first saw that bottle of spray wax when it came in and it had Sam's face on it and the like green memorable. I was like, we gotta sell some spray wax. I'm like, this is like the golden egg.
Yeah.
And it's so good. Like it actually is such good spray wax. I don't think people even fathom that part. Like they just think, all right, it's Sam spray wax. It's awesome. I got to get it. It's actually so good that you can't use another one after.
That's what damages.
Just a
That's
hitter.
what like messes with me a little bit because I'm so used to influencers just kind of like pull a product out of whoever sells it and put their name on it, and it's part of the world.
Yep.
But there's
It's not necessarily bad, but it's just ours is better.
Yeah.
What do you
If you're
think
buying
about
spray wax from another influencer,
let's compare
I'm
it to
sorry.
what
You're
we're
not
doing
getting
right
the
now.
best one.
You know, as you mentioned about the cars, we've got cars that have names and all in the shop, you know, and had them for a long time, had some of them, you know. But now then, we're getting ready for the next step. And we've got to treat it with respect, you know what I'm saying? And we are going to the next step. Well, in a lot of ways, what we put into the spray wax on the thing was not required. But if you wanted what I wanted in it, and I drove them guys crazy, you know, they're like, dang it, man, would you let up a little bit? No, I can't. Well, this car that we have is representative of just exactly that. We are going to the next, and it's a big step.
Yeah.
But we've got all the stuff to do it. We got the pilot to do it, and then we got the crew. It's going to have to do a big learning curve on the crew.
So it's actually interesting about the car. Do you think that this car will take the channel to a higher level, or do you think it's not it's just another car?
I think that we needed another, like Mullet was kind of Mullet. We push Mullet too far, which we've done this with every car. We take them to a point that's too far, and then we end up pulling them back a little bit. So we push Mullet too far, and then naturally, I'm like, I want more. So that's what Eagle's doing.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll go past Eagle.
I just meant like this car bring the channel, like elevate the channel higher, because it already seems like the car content is so ballooned at this point that it almost seems like you already got the car audience. It seems like what brings your channel more is like the branching out of cars, but the core audience wants to see the cars.
This might be dumb, but like I really just built Eagle to win. Like I just want to win some races with it. I didn't really picture it in the matter of building the channel with that particular car. Honestly, I think the last time I thought about that with a car was Leroy.
Yeah.
But like everything since has like just been purely out of my selfish wants to go faster.
Well, like thinking about the no prep stuff and like the all-wheel drive Dale truck, like that seems to have almost brought in a different demographic than maybe what Eagle will bring in.
Yeah. I don't know how that happens, just automatically. Sometimes like I don't know how the Dale Truck project happened. It's just purely from us losing. They came and beat us so bad, I was like, I gotta build something. I can't let that happen. And then like, I mean, I built Eagle because Mullet got smoked by the Extreme 28s class, Brett and Keith and all those guys, like just outrunning the car so bad. So like I'm like, oh, now I need something faster. I don't know. Honestly, majority of what we own is probably from me losing and getting frustrated.
That makes sense. I mean,
Will it bring us to new heights? Probably not. Our most viewed stuff isn't even related to drag passings, but it's just what we love. It's what we're passionate about. Yeah. So
of course, and I love to see that, obviously, like the drag racing. I love to see the drag racing get pushed to the floor as much as possible, but you are definitely outgrowing the drag race viewer in a way of size. And that's kind of a thing. It's like the reality of it is there's only so many people consuming drag racing. Yep. That's why you see channels that are bigger, like Chris Fix or like Tavares, that are out of drag racing almost.
Yeah. I mean, and it makes a lot of sense. Like, why would we only have content about drag racing when we get more views on cars that cost $3,000, you know? So for some reason, you know, you would think we would just only make videos about the stuff that gets the most views. Probably should. From a strategic standpoint, that would make sense. But we literally just follow our hearts every day. It's kind of weird. Like,
and if you look in the
schedule just lines up with our hearts.
Overall, the whole ball of wax, if you will. And I think, to me, from what I see and through the years on it, is the rounding of things that we do. We're not just singular in direction on the thing. You know, we might have the $3,000 car, we might have the Challenge or whatever. That Challenge was fun. I mean, that was big
so
fun.
fun.
That was so much big fun, and especially the ending on it. Turn them loose to the top of the hill. It was amazing. And there's all kind of side bits. You think it'll make it to the garage? Well, I don't think it'll do that. And it was, I don't know, but the excitement of all, and then the following of that was people that was not really into drag racing much was along for the ride on that and really got caught up into it. And it was a lot of fun. It was very different. Very,
well, and
very
it's
different.
for the best, too. You got to leave them at Whistle and Diesel's property.
Yeah.
So you don't have to think
They
about
didn't have to clean them
anymore.
up.
Yeah.
No,
I said,
and
hey,
he
brother,
said,
you
"No,
want us
just
to
leave 'em
clean
here."
these up? He said, no, we'll take the scrap.
I mean, we left them in some pretty bad shape. Left one, and mine and James is left in the brush out there.
We've talked about that before, though, where people would constantly ask you to, do something with those vehicles if you didn't just destroy them. They almost have to be destroyed.
They have to be destroyed.
Or else the internet will ask you to
People
build
will be
them.
like,
Yes.
come on, Cleeter. I know it's almost totaled, but please. I mean, people wanted me to put the Hellcat motor in that truck bad, but I was like, dude, it's committed to the plan. I can always find another one.
No, it's for the best that it's just like,
Oh, you have to destroy them or the comments would be relentless about it.
You'd be buried with a dull shovel.
There's-
Wow. No.
what happened with all those burnout motors? Where didn't you get a bunch of...
Yeah, well, like when we build burnout cars, it's really the end of the year, and we just didn't get them on time to put them together for the year. So now we're in drag race mode. We gotta stick to that. So after Les Mullets, we'll build the new burnout cars for next year.
Okay. Yeah, because I feel like burnouts have they're quiet right now, but then the season hits and all of a sudden
I know. So I have 5 big blocks, so I'm gonna build 5 cars. We're gonna build them all at the same time. Try and fire them all up at the same day.
different chassis across the board.
Yep.
And see, think about the audience that brings. The audience that brings, a lot of them's never been to a drag race and probably never will, but they'll come to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's totally different on thing. And it is,
Burnouts are like the Disney on Ice of the automotive world. Anyone can watch a burnout and be like, that was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Drag race, it's hard. You have to understand it. You know, especially like, you just have to understand it. You have to understand the staging, you know, who won, the times, all that, you know, because one guy can go faster, but really the guy in the right lane gets the win light. You have to understand it. Burnouts, you do not have to really understand to just be like, hell yeah.
boom.
Well, and it's a fast-moving day. Like 3 hours, 4 hours, it's done.
Yeah.
Like drag racing, like World Cup, love the event, but like,
Honestly, the best races are like at midnight.
Yeah,
And it's like
on
really
Sunday.
cool. Yeah. So it's like you don't even.
We're finishing up now, finally.
So as a spectator, it's just like the most fun and action, easy going.
I had somebody message me. They were like, hey, I want to go to World Cup. Which day should I go? I was like, go Thursday if you want to try to meet YouTubers
Yeah.
and talk to people.
Yeah.
Go Friday if you want to watch some passes.
Yeah.
And like Sunday night if you want to, like
See the
Saturday
grand
if you want to
finale.
feel the craziness of it, but like Sunday night if you want to watch
Sunday,
the
it's
finals.
The grand finale, yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of my take on it because
I'm fired up for World Cup. Are you coming this year? Are you gonna go?
no, I'm not going.
Okay.
It's just too much of a trek to go there and
Yeah.
cry in the stands alone.
You cry in our pit with us.
Yeah, we got
yeah.
crying towels. We got
Yeah.
crying towels.
We usually are crying on Saturday because we did something stupid.
It's
And
hard
like
to go
trying
to a
figure
race
it
and
out.
not race.
Oh
You know
yeah,
that.
No, I won't do it.
It's like
Can't do it.
there's like this like
So,
That is-
yeah, it's really hard.
Please, let me in it. Give me the wheel.
Does your car not fit any rules?
no, they still don't have a good crossover.
Really?
You can't race a domestic with an import motor.
Nope. You can in
Idiot.
stick shift.
Oh,
That doesn't really help me.
Yeah, you don't wanna do that.
Or you can in like Renegade. And it's like that also doesn't
you don't
really
wanna do
help
that.
me.
That's a
It's like,
5 second.
I don't qualify for that. So it's like
Wow.
yeah, it's rough. It's tough out here, Jason Miller. Come on.
Yeah,
Come on.
Jason, come on.
I was
dude.
gonna go up
Get
with
rid
Jim.
of the rule. Who
I was going
cares
to go
if
up
it's
with
got
Jim and
import?
Brett, but again, it's just like
Yeah, nah, I feel you.
you just got that like jitters of wanting to make a pass.
And it's 4 days. It's not like it's a short period of time.
Yeah, 1,000 miles away.
And let's all, sincerely pray for warm weather. Goodness sakes.
Damn, I don't think it's looking good.
No,
buddy.
it's not looking
Let
good
me-
for it.
Let
It's
me
not
pull
looking.
it up.
You remember that one year they had to close it? It was so cold. I thought,
Yeah.
this is where I'll freeze to death right here.
What's it, Mechanicsville?
Yeah. Sam, we were there one year, and, we're all in the pits. Everybody's working on their Hondas and stuff. And this police truck comes by, and he goes, everybody get in your pits, get your tents down. There's a tornado in the area. Oh. We lost our tent and everything.
Well, that was a good tent.
A tornado at the end of October. I was like, what is going on here?
Wow.
Just in Maryland. Remember that? We lost the tent.
Yeah, I do
Oh.
remember that. It's 70s, high of 70s, low of 50s right now. So we might be good.
This should be fun.
That's
Garrett, it's about over, but, Doug Cook, I think, called you out the other day for not talking about politics.
On his,
I don't know if it was directed at you when he said,
What did he say?
if you have an audience and you're not talking politics, you're doing something wrong.
oh,
And I was wondering, I was like, you don't talk politics for a reason because it doesn't really fit in your channel.
yeah, I mean, I have a race car channel, not a politics channel. I try not to alienate my viewers in any way for something as stupid as politics. And it would be one thing if I thought that my viewers were like, I could sway them one way or the other. But it goes without saying that a vast majority of my viewers know who they're voting for. And it's the same person I'm voting for. So
It's unlikely you're going to change anyone's mind in this world.
I mean, I don't think I have to. I think, like I said, mass majority of my viewers are voting for the same person I am, and it's the only one that makes sense. So I'll leave it at that.
I know, I get it. It's just funny because you never talk about politics. Obviously, you care about it, like most. Some way, you have some kind of care.
But sometimes
Sam's seen more presidents than all of us.
Yeah, but sometimes it gets in the way of the mission. And I'm not trying to build it up or let it down either way. But sometimes, you can get in some heated arguments, and you think about it. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
I mean,
Besides cast your vote, what else are you going to do about it? Beat someone in the head with a screwdriver?
I guess
No.
I'm not afraid to say it. I'm voting for Donald Trump.
DJT, Donald J. Trump.
I'm voting for Donald Trump. I can't see. I'll say just one thing. I could not fathom voting for the other side. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's a long conversation. We're voting for Trump.
No, I mean it makes sense
simple as
that
that.
you just can't see yourself voting for.
Yeah,
because
I don't
he's
have to
a
preach it on my channel. I
psychopath.
think all of my viewers are voting for Trump. I'm sure there's some that are voting for the other side, and I can tell you, I wouldn't fight with them about it.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Vote for who you feel you should vote for. Look up policy. Pick the policy you like more. Yeah. And I mean,
Vote
it's as
down
simple as
ballot
that.
because that's a little more important, anyways.
Yeah.
Not the president, but all your congressmen and stuff like that. Who was the first president you voted for?
Let's see. Well, I was too young for Eisenhower. You guys don't remember that, do you?
No, I don't.
Oh,
I know of Eisenhower.
Or Johnson or any of those, or Kennedy. It was probably Kennedy. Yeah. I mean, you go back,
That's crazy.
it's a long time back in there, And you see them come and go. But, right now,
Kennedy. Yeah.
right now we're in trouble.
Are you going to vote for Kamala Harris? I'm just kidding.
Did he just say that?
All right.
She's everybody's drunk mom.
That's enough politics for me
Yeah.
for a year.
Yep. All right. That'll end it off, guys.
But you know what I get to do tomorrow morning first thing?
Go and
Be around
detail
hot
a car.
rods. Yes, be around hot rods.
Wipe down
And-
Leroy, apparently.
And gonna, some of this new paint we've got. I don't know. Let's come back to the Eagle Eye just a second. Did you see that paint on that?
I hadn't seen it in person yet. I'm
Well,
excited to.
I'm just pictures of it.
Yeah.
Oh, in person, sick.
I'm excited to go see it in person.
Mercy sakes,
Excited to see it next to Mullet.
that's going to be
Yeah. It's going to be awesome.
But
All right.
they'll be ready for World Cup. All of them be ready for World Cup, shined up, ready to go, and competitive.
You're going to have to shine them when they leave and then also when they get there, even though they hadn't unloaded
Of
yet.
course,
right?
it's
true.
job security. Come on,
how it is.
That's
Well,
job security.
Thanks for having us.
Good deal. Thank you guys so much for coming on. We'll see you next time.
It's